Hello and welcome to another fun practice. Happy New Year, happy 2025. I hope all you guys had a great start to this year and I wish you all the best for whatever your goals are. And today's practice is kind of a full body flow like all of my other vinyasas. It's a very simple format but also kind of challenging, and we'll focus a little bit on core, building strength, balance and all the fun stuff. I am using my ankle weights for this vinyasa, but that's completely optional, and you can make this practice your own, add some kind of weights into it or add more repetitions into it. So whatever suits you today. Always listen to your body and be grateful for what you can do and be consistent, and you'll be able to achieve your goal. I'll meet you on the mat. We'll begin our practice towards the front of the mat. Bring your feet hip distance apart, engage your core and tuck your tailbone. Bring your palms to your chest. Your next in breath, optional to add a heel lift to add a balance challenge, or you can just start with both your feet completely on the ground. Bring your palms to your chest. Next out breath, sweep your arms all the way up, floating your heels. Bring your gaze up towards your palms. Cactus your arms and open your chest up towards the sky. From here, open your arms out in a T. Your chest is still opening up towards the sky. Your gaze is up. Next out breath, bring your palms to touch behind your head. You can interlace your thumbs and you can stretch open your lat muscles and float your heels. Come up on a releve as high as you can. Engage your quads. Bring your heels down on the mat. Fold forward. Halfway lift. You can bring the palms onto the mat or you can have your palms on your shin. Halfway lift. Open your sit bones up towards the sky so you can feel a nice opening in your hamstrings. Step back into plank. Engage your core. We'll take a couple of push-ups. You can do the push-ups down from your knees. Shift your hips back, coming into downward facing dog. Bring your feet slightly wider than hip distance. Bring your left palm to wrap around your right ankle. Bring your gaze up towards the sky from underneath your right armpit. Take a downward dog twist. Switch sides. Right palm wraps your left ankle. Twist in your downward dog. Come back into a downward facing dog. Bring your feet hip distance apart and float your right leg. Three-legged dog. Point your toes. Push the mat down. Turn your palms slightly inwards and 3 down one-legged dog push-ups. Bring the forehead down towards the mat. Bring the crown of your head in between your palms and push back up. Back to three-legged dog. Bring your right knee into your chest. Shift forward. Plant your right foot in between your palms. Come up into a high crescent lunge. Bring your arms alongside your ears. Squeeze your inner thighs and square your hips towards the front of the mat. Bring your right quad parallel to the mat, or at least work towards it. Cactus your arms. We'll take a couple of rounds of high crescent pulses. Bring your back knee to touch the mat and back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make a big arm circle, and as you come back to the front, step forward, come into a chair and hold. You can add a balance here by bringing your palms to your chest and floating your heels. Bring your heels back down onto the mat. Hook your left elbow on the outside of your right knee and take a twist. Bring your gaze down towards the mat. Bring your left palm onto the mat. Extend your right leg. Keep your left knee bent. Extend your right hand up towards the sky. Fold forward. You option to interlace your fingers behind your back and open your shoulders in your forward fold. Release your hands. Come back into chair. Step back with your left leg. Plant your left foot. Make sure that your front heel and your back arch are in line with each other. Sink into your hips. You're working towards bringing your right thigh parallel to the mat. Open your arms out in a T. Come into warrior 2. You're pushing through the knife edge side of your back foot. Reverse your warrior. Move through side angle. You can either rest your right hand on your right thigh, or you can bring your right fingers on the inside of your right foot. Option to bring your left arm alongside your ear. Reach. From here, extend your right leg. Transition into triangle. Release your triangle. Sit. Bring your left hip towards your left heel, transitioning into Skandasana. Your right foot is flexed and it faces up towards the sky. Option to take a bind. Release your bind. Plant your right foot. Shift towards your towards the front of the mat. Bring both your palms on the inside of your right leg, coming into a high lizard. You have an option to bring your forearms down onto the mat, coming in, deepening your lizard lunge. Back up into a high lizard. Come onto the knife edge side of both your feet. Dip your hips towards the mat. Extend your right hand towards the back of the mat. Come back and hip dip. We'll take 3 more. 1, 2, and 3, and hold. Reach with your back fingertips towards the back of your mat. Come back into high lizard. Shift your hips back, coming into a pyramid. Fold from your hips and nod by rounding your back. Engage your legs, pull up on your kneecaps, reach through the crown of your head. Shift forward, coming into a runner's lunge. Step back into plank and flow through vinyasa, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Come all the way back up to downward facing dog. Breathe, float your heels, bend at your knees, bring your gaze towards the front of the mat, travel to the front of the mat. You can walk, you can jump to the palms, fold forward, all the way back up to Tadasana. We'll add a balance. Bring your right heel on the inside of your left foot. You can stay here holding your right heel here, or you can bring both your arms out in a T, or bring your palms to touch over your head. Hold your tree pose and release. Come back to mountain. Next in breath, sweep your arms all the way up, float your heels, cactus your arms, open your chest up towards the sky, gaze towards the sky as well. Open your arms out in a T, keep your heels floating, bring your palms to touch behind your head, interlace your thumbs and open your chest, reach through your fingertips and fold forward, bringing your heels back down onto the mat. Halfway lift, step back, coming into plank. Go through your push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shift your hips. Come into downward facing dog. Bring your feet slightly wider than hip distance. Wrap your left palm around your right. Take a twist. Switch sides. Wrap your right palm around your left. Take a twist. Come back into downward dog. Bring your feet back hip distance and float your left leg. Three-legged dog. Turn your palms slightly inwards and three-legged dog push-ups. Bring the crown of your head to touch the mat and push back up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring your left knee to chest. Plant your left foot in between your hands. Come up, high crescent lunge. Cactus your arms and back knee comes down onto the mat and come back up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make a big arm circle. Bring your right foot to meet your left. Come into chair. Palms come to your chest. Float your heels. This is optional. Keep sinking into your chair. Bring your heels back down. Hook your right elbow on the outside of your left knee. Take a twist. Extend your left leg. Plant your right palm. Extend your left fingertips up towards the sky. Hold. Fold forward. Optional to interlace your fingers behind your back. Halfway lift. Come back into chair. This time step your right leg back. Make sure that your front heel and back arch are in line with each other. Sink your hips. Warrior 2. Reverse your warrior. Transition side angle. Option to bring your right hand in line with your ears. Extend your left leg. Transition into triangle. Release your triangle. Bring your right hip towards your right heel. Skandasana. Take a bind. Optional. Plant your left foot. Shift to the front of the mat. Bring both your palms on the inside of your left foot, coming into a lizard. Bring your forearms down on the mat, deepening your lizard. This is completely optional again. Come back into high lizard. Roll on to the knife edge side of both your feet. Take 5 hip dips, reaching your left palm towards the back of the mat. Come back into lizard for 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Come back into lizard. Shift your hips back. Plant your back foot. Fold into pyramid. Come back into runner's lunge. Plant your palms. Shift, step back into plank. Flow through vinyasa. Chaturanga, upward facing dog. Come back, downward facing dog. Float your heels. Travel to the front of the mat. Halfway lift. Fold forward. Come all the way back up. Float your left leg. Bring your left foot on the inside of your right leg and hold in tree pose. Release, Tadasana. Next, in breath, sweep your arms, float your heels, Cactus your arms, open your chest up towards the sky. Open your arms out in a T. Bring your palms to touch behind your head. Interlace your thumbs and extend, reach through your fingertips. Heels come down onto the mat, fold forward. Halfway lift, plant your palms, step back to plank. Take 5 push-ups. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shift your hips back, downward facing dog. Wrap your left palm around your right ankle, take a downward dog twist. Switch sides. Back to downward facing dog. Bring your feet hip distance, float your right leg. Take 5 one-legged dog push-ups for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your right knee to chest, shoulders over your wrists. Plant your right foot in between your palms. Come up into high crescent lunge, and we have a fun move here. Come into high crescent lunge. You can do those crescent lunge pulses or lift your front heel, and as you make a big circle with your arms, and as your arms come back up, you try to pull your right knee into your chest, coming into one-legged Tadasana. Extend your leg, plant it again, arm makes a big circle, come back up, extend, plant, big circle with your arms, come back up. You're working on your fast twitch muscles in your quads. Last one. Release. Come back into high crescent lunge. Step your back foot. Come into a chair. Palms to your chest. Hook your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. Take a twist. Bring your gaze down onto the mat and float your left leg, keeping your left elbow hooked on the outside of your right knee. Float your left leg, plant your left foot, open up warrior 2. Reverse your warrior, transition into side angle, flow through triangle, hold. Sit in your Skandasana towards the back of the mat. Take a twist. Take a bind if you have it in your practice. Plant your right foot. Shift forward into lizard. And this time, instead of those pulses, we will flip into a wild thing. Release your wild thing, plant your right palm and transition into a side plank. Hold. Option to float your top leg. Plant your palms down onto the mat and lift your hips back up. Come into a downward facing dog. Float your right leg, 3-legged dog. Bring your right foot between your palms and transition into a pyramid. Make sure that your feet are on parallel tracks. From here, we'll take a fun transition. Bend your back knee and sit back as far as you can so your knees come in line with each other. And you can just stay here with your back foot on the mat, or if you want to add a challenge, float your back leg. Bring your back foot down and Bring your sit bones down on the mat. Float your right leg and try to bring your right shin to your forehead. Release. Bring your left foot on the outside of your right knee and take a seated twist. Release your twist and float both your legs. Come into boat and hold. Release your boat. Come all the way down onto the mat, and you can take few bridge ups or pulse in your bridge hold, or if you have a wheel in your practice, come into a back bend. And hold. Release your back bend and extend both your legs and use your core to sit back up, coming into a boat. Option to extend both your legs, hold. Release, bringing your heels, the soles of your feet together into a butterfly, and fold. If you can, fold at your hips. Folding is completely optional. You can just sit upright if that feels good today. Come back, release your fold and bring your knees together and lift back up into chair. Come all the way up to one-legged Tadasana, bringing your right knee into your chest. Grab the outside of your right foot and take a twist. Release your twist. Grab hold of your right foot behind you and transition into dancers. Release and back to Tadasana. We'll take that flow on the other side. Sweep your arms up, float your heels, open your chest up towards the sky, arms open into a T, bring your palms to touch behind your head, interlace your thumbs, reach through your fingertips and fold forward. Halfway lift, plant your palms down onto the mat, step back into plank, take 5 push-ups, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift your hips, downward facing dog, bring your feet wider than hip distance, take a downward dog push-up or downward dog twist on your right side. Switch sides, back to center, bring your feet hip distance, float your left leg, bring the crown of your head to touch between your palms and push back up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your left knee to chest, plant your left foot in between your palms, come up into a high crescent lunge. Hold. Float your left heel, and as your arms make a big circle, come up into a one-legged Tadasana. Bring your left knee to chest, extend left leg, plant, arm big circle, come back up, extend, release, make a big circle with your arms, come back up, extend, release, big circle with your arms, come back up, last one, extend, release, come back up, extend, release, back foot meets the front chair. Hook your right elbow on the outside of your left knee. Take a chair twist. Extend your left leg. Left hand reaches up towards the sky. Come back into your chair twist. Bring your gaze down onto the mat. Float your right leg. Extend. Hold your balance. Plant your back foot. Open up warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Sit, sit, sit in your hips. Transition side angle. Extend your top arm alongside your ears. Come into a triangle. Release your triangle and sit into Skandasana towards your back heel. Take a bind if that's in your practice. Release your bind. Come into lizard to the front of the mat. Hold. Flip into a wild thing. Open your chest up towards the sky. Release your wild thing and come into a side plank on your left side. Hold. You can float your top leg, optional. Release, plank, flow through vinyasa. Chaduranga, upward facing dog. Come back up, downward facing dog. Float your left leg, three-legged dog. Left knee to chest. Plant your left foot in between your palms. Shift your hips back, pyramid. Hold. Bend your back knee. Shift your hips back so your knees come in line with each other. Stay here or try to float your back leg. This takes a lot of hamstring opening. Be kind to yourself here. Release your back leg. Bring your sit bones down onto the mat. Bring your left shin towards your forehead. Hold. Release your left leg. Right foot on the outside of your left thigh. Take a seated twist. Release your twist. Bend both your knees. Float your legs, optional, and hold your Navasana. Release. Bring your back down onto the mat and take a bridge up or take a full wheel, your choice. Release your back bend. Extend your legs and come into a sit up. Hold your Navasana. Optional to extend both your legs. Hold. Release into butterfly. And this is where we'll end our practice today. With a hip opener, you can hold your butterfly, sit up straight, close your eyes, and take a couple of deep breaths. Or you can fold forward. We'll close our practice in butterfly today. I hope you enjoyed this flow and let me know your thoughts. Have a beautiful week and until we meet together, happy nourishing and happy new year once again everyone. Thank you so much for choosing to practice with me.